Going to hang out tonight and talk about breaking the chains and what that looks like and how we begin that process and what do those chains look like? What are those problems in life that we struggle with and where do we go with it? So hopefully we'll get some activity tonight and we'll have fun. I'm here for an hour every Wednesday and Saturday nights or longer depending on engagement. Glad to be here. I'm going to start this over on my phone, on my computer, so I can see anybody chatting in. Whew. Man, long day. At 61, yard work is not like I'm a kid anymore. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good evening. I'm just kind of sitting back, relaxing, waiting for a few people to show up, start a conversation, start talking about the topic for tonight, breaking the chains, understanding addiction. I got to rehydrate because I was out doing gardening. Ugh. At 61, gardening kicks my butt. That's okay. I'd rather be doing that in my yard, in my house, on my time, sober. Um, if you're visiting and this is the first time you're coming through, appreciate you stopping by. Kind of leave a note or a tag in the comment section so I know you're here. Appreciate you. Um, yeah, it's a beautiful night. It was a great day, and we'll see where we go from there. I don't want to just start talking. It was a hard day. Got a couple hard cases going on with some families and their loved ones. You know, it's difficult for families to deal with the insanity that is addiction. And I'm not saying that there isn't stuff around family issues and dynamics, but for a loved one to watch someone that they care so much about destroying their lives and they feel powerless over it, there's nothing I can compare it to. Um, I'm letting YouTube push this out a little bit. It usually takes about 5 minutes for people to start flitting in. Some of the folks I know are going to hopefully get notified tonight. Hey, welcome in. I'm glad to see you stopping by. Tonight I'm going to be talking about breaking the chains that like bind people to an addictive lifestyle or a pain lifestyle or a narrative lifestyle that's not constructive. Um, if you got sober time, appreciate you. If you can leave me, drop a note, tell me how many years you got sober so I know you're here. I appreciate all of you coming and stopping by. Um, my name is Lance Wright, and I'm an addiction recovery specialist. I also, with regards to that, do everything from pre-intervention to aftercare with families and their loved ones. It's a passion, and it's something that I do with all my heart and soul. Um, there's a lot of suffering. I never really thought about. Oh, somebody said hi. Hi, Yunli. Blessings. Welcome. I'm looking down at my computer because I can't see the chat up on my thing very well. I'm half blind. You hit them older years, and all the drugs I did as a kid kind of start to take a toll on my vision and my life. But yeah, I want to talk about what is addiction and what it isn't. A lot of people have this misnomer and can come from a place of judgment and wrath and misunderstanding. And there's a lot of myths around addiction, like just get a job, just drink like a normal person. And for those of us that know what alcohol and substance abuse or other life abuses and addictions are, it's extremely difficult to do that. Free will, drugs take so much from your development and relationship. It's horrible. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I mean, I think of it as the prison of the soul because it's not just I do the substances to escape what I'm dealing with. I don't want to feel, I don't want to think, I don't want to be aware of. So drugs and alcohol are a way to get away. Like Gabor Mate says, people don't do drugs to ruin their lives. They do drugs to obliterate a sense of self that they can't tolerate. Drugs aren't the real issue. It's a sense of self. It's a sense of life. And what might have been social at one point, or maybe even just a little abusive, at some point flips and becomes a level of dependency. Hey, JK, welcome. And so tonight I kind of want to just talk about what goes on in someone's life. We got enough in here hanging out. I know it only shows two. I don't know how their algorithm works, but I appreciate those that are here. You know, for everyone that thinks of drugs, when you hear the word addiction, the first thing you think is drugs or alcohol. But that's like the cream on the top. It's really not the core issue. I got you, brother. I got you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome, Miles. It's weird because you look up and you see these little things. I'm getting used to this live stream stuff, and it's a little unnerving at this stage of my life to learn a new platform and a new way of being. But if I can reach people and help people, which is what this is about, it's worth my own struggle to be here with you tonight and learn on the fly. So, addiction. What is addiction? Addiction is a habit with progressive consequences. It's something that you practice over and over again until we lose control and we don't have control. How many years did I go to school? I went to school I got my AA degree in drug and alcohol studies and my counseling credentials here in California. Also, I've been taking a lot of courses in transformational thought processing, and I just love studying. Plus, I've got 32 years sober. I helped write a program for people with drug and alcohol issues, but also with lifestyle issues, because most of the people today, drugs and alcohol are a component of a much broader lifestyle addiction. And when I talk about addiction, I think of it as much more than just drugs and alcohol. 81 days sober. Amen, brother. Congratulations. Have I ever fasted? Yes. I believe the last time I fasted, it was a spiritual thing, and I wanted to get connected to something that God wanted me to do. And God hasn't let me down yet. When I turn to God and I ask for guidance and wisdom, I don't know where it's going to come from, but it always shows up. As long as I'm listening and open, I usually receive what I'm seeking. Amen. So it's really one of the things that I learned early on in treatment. I don't even want to say treatment because my sponsor, my mentor, I don't even think of him as a sponsor. He's just like an elder, a man who figured it out, went through this process and really applied his life to it, was able to teach me and give me hope that I could change. Because I remember sitting those first few times when I listened, I thought it was all a joke and I never thought I'd be sober, let alone be sitting here talking to you tonight in my office, at my home, and just being free. And I don't mean just free externally, I mean free in my soul, with integrity and character and identity. Um, yes, I did. Let me see. My rock bottom happened 9 years into a life sentence in the state of California prison system. I had been doing drugs and alcohol, just like what would you do if we're all sitting in a prison sentence doing life and there's drugs and alcohol? You do that. I'm not going to go into that because I don't glorify that lifestyle much, but that was my experience. About 9 years in, I got caught for possession of methamphetamine for distribution and being spun out. And I came out of the psychosis on March 11th of 93 in an ad seg cell in Soledad. And I remember just having that moment. Maybe some of you have had that moment where you just look and you have that thought in your soul. It's like, this is not who I am. How did this happen? It's like looking at the wreckage of your past and knowing that's not who you are, but you just can't comprehend it. And you don't want it, but you don't know what to do. And it was in that place that I said, God, I can't live a decent life and continue to do the things I'm doing. Help me. And I think that was both my bottom and my highest point because I surrendered that day. It wasn't epic. It wasn't like reading a book. It was just a complete surrender to something that I didn't even know. But I said yes. And I continued to move forward. And that was my rock bottom moment. And now 32 years later, my life's pretty amazing. I mean, it ain't perfect. None of our lives are perfect. Sobriety doesn't take away life. It just gives us the gift and tools to go through it with friends and family and people around us and wisdom. Let me catch up on some of the readings here. Amen. Yep. When I was in the county jail, I thought about that a lot because, when you're looking at a kid at 19 years old and they're saying you're going to die in prison, that's pretty overwhelming. And God had another plan. And here I am with you tonight. And it's weird. I take credit for the hard work I had to do to heal the wounds that held me back. But I also give God credit for everything I have because without that, I wouldn't be here right now. I wish I could write these questions down. I'm going to get sidetracked. Or should I just have an open forum tonight with y'all? Amen. I don't, youth today, I have a lot of empathy for. It's a confusing time to be a kid in the world. Um, I think they have this image of what they want the world to look like and what they believe the world can look like, and then the reality of what the world looks like. And that's a very conflicting space to be in. And, whenever I get the opportunity to speak with youth or students at schools, I usually talk about being your best self in a dark space, be a light in the darkness, and stand up to it with love and compassion and empathy for your neighbor as you have for yourself. Um, the whole identity that we used to have growing up, I was just talking about this today, is not there right now. Everything's so fractured and isolated, and you know, I'll tell a story in a second. Let me see. Yep. Welcome in, Ace Wolf. The marijuana thing is, I live in California, Southern California, and it's the capital of weed almost here. But I also was raised in Northern California, and there's a lot of this weed today isn't the weed of the past. It's highly, highly hybrided out, and it's crazy. Hey, banana. Sorry I missed you. I can't see the screen up here. If I'm looking down at my computer, I can see you guys chiming in. No, I wouldn't, Quinn. Not one bit. I don't know if many, well, you do. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about, man. That bottom where you're disgusted with life, you're almost married to despair, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to even begin to start. And when you find that, and you know that no amount of money would take away my life right now. There's something much more precious than money that I found in sobriety, and it's called integrity, self worth, self validation, a relationship with God, a purpose in life, and no amount of money is worth compromising that. It's just money. Money comes and goes. God's always taking care of me. I don't really worry about that much. I mean, there's some times where it gets tight, but I've never had for want. And I give that to God and the hard work that I do every day helping people. Um, Let me see. Whoop, that's kind of rude, not gonna lie. Okay. How is it rude? I'm open. I love good conversations. Because here's the truth of it. Would you sell your soul for all the money in the world? Would you give up your freedom for money? Would you do something that compromised everything you believed in for money that's fleeting and gone tomorrow to lose your soul, to lose your being, your person, your sense of peace and value? Because that's what drugs takes from us. And I can come across very straightforward, but I really believe in a path of freedom over a path of imprisonment. Let me see. Yep. Happy Easter. Blessed Easter, Wojak. The whole purpose of money is freedom, sir. Yash, L. Money can be an addiction too. And really, to be honest with you, how much do you need? I know people with extreme amounts of money that I work with and are good friends, and they're more like miserable and depressed than most of the people that are struggling and working and paying bills. Money doesn't give you freedom and money doesn't give you peace. You can do a lot of things, you can have a lot of things, but within, you might be a tomb, a sepulchre, as they say, on this Good Saturday, or Holy Saturday, I should say. Um, how many in here know that place in addiction where you can't get away from it and it controls you and you're doing things you don't want to do, that you despise, that you would never do, and you can't help but do it anyway? And how that makes you feel. Is there any price you would pay to want to go back to that? How do I deal with negativity even when you're positive with them? PR strength. How do you deal with negativity even when you're positive with them? I understand. I've been that negative person. Usually, my negativity was a defense mechanism to protect myself from the truth I knew. Have a good night, Banana. Blessings. Hey, I have to do this. If you like anything you're hearing tonight and you want to support this growing, I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, your follows, your shares, however you can help me get this out. Every every Wednesday evening and Saturday evening, I'm going to be here live on YouTube, and I will also be on another platform on probably Thursday nights. I think I have it set up for that. But I'm trying to connect with people, create a community. I have some good people coming on. I'm going to be doing I guess like live stream slash like podcast styles. Next Wednesday, I have a really good friend named Chad Scott. He's a coach and a mentor, and he does a lot of holistic stuff, breath works, meditation, and things like that. I'm going to be bringing people in. I have a couple people lined up, and we're going to get lively. We're going to make some magic. We're going to do something to help one another. We'll build a community here and carry a message of hope. And that's really what I want this to be about. Thank you, Banana. And Shurian, God bless. Hi to you too. What's the question, Squirt King? I have to look because the screen over here on my phone, it's so minutely small. I can't. I got bifocals. I'm going to be doing this. You'll see inside my nose if I get too close to the phone. So, can I spend 5 minutes with y'all? Give me 5 minutes to explain addiction. Addiction, half the time, we think it's about the drugs and alcohol, but it's about a lot of other things too. Um, I think of addiction as an attachment to something that I can't deal with or can't let go of, some kind of a pain, a trauma, whether it's big or small, a perception that I can't let go of that begins to control my life and I can't deal with it. And I find a substance that does that. And so that substance or that behavior that I'm doing addictively is like I'm getting away from or think I'm getting away from something in my life that had a negative impact that I'm attached to in an addictive way because it's also destroying me just as much as the alcohol or the drugs. And if you stack a lot of those attachments, mom issues, dad issues, girlfriend issues, bully issues, there's a lot of things that we carry that kind of impact our lives and create narratives and belief systems that drugs help us deal with and make go away until the drug becomes the dominant thing that we think we need to have to survive and we can't stop and it's too late and here we are talking about going to treatment, a detox, whatever that might look like. Let me see the screen. Here we go. Oh, here we go. So Squirt King, I don't moderate. I don't have a moderator, but I'm not going to engage with you, brother. I love you. Appreciate your sense of humor and joking around, but I do want to keep it somewhat serious here, and I appreciate you, and I'm not offended. If you have anything you'd like to learn about life and problems and struggles you might be having, this is the place. And I want to respect everybody in here as well. It's just a courtesy thing. Um, so, with that, I probably won't go down conversations with you if you're going to be on that street. Thank you, though, for being here tonight. That's okay. Well, this is my credential. Well, let me see here. That's the my KDAC for my counseling, and then that's the AA degree over there for drug and alcohol study. And then some mementos. I keep mementos up here on the wall of gifts that my elders have given me. Oh, Yenin. Why advertise? Hmm. Hmm. Advertise. I think that people, someone once told me recently when I'm starting to build this social media thing, nobody knows you exist if you don't exist. And I've lived doing this work for 32 years. I've been sober 32 years, probably been doing this a good 30. And it's word of mouth. I'm good at what I do. I care about people. And if nobody knows I exist, I can't really carry that message. And so, yeah, you can advertisement, getting my name out there, starting a conversation with people. Absolutely. I will do whatever it does takes to help someone in a legitimate and honest way. Do you need to exist? Oh, I love you guys. I got a good crew tonight. Thank you, Ajax. But the thing is, all joking aside, you guys can carry on. I don't mind. If there's a serious question, I'll get into it with y'all. But we all have struggles in life. Maybe that some of you find joking around or having like fun conversations a way to escape dealing with reality or some stuff going on in your own lives. But there's a lot of people struggling. Maybe you know somebody. Maybe you've known somebody. In today's world, most people know a friend, a loved one, a coworker that struggles with alcohol or substances or other life problems. And that's what this is about. So to me, it's kind of I try to take it as serious as I can and also be light about it because I don't tell anybody what to do. It's like I'm just strictly about suggestions and guidance, and if you do with it what you want, you know. Let me see. Preached? Well, hmm. I don't know. I think coming here and opening the path for a conversation about helping people is just being present. I think if I would have had someone like myself or someone like some of you out there that are in the program and in recovery when I was young that spoke up and actually cared and could communicate and were there for me, I may not have went down some of the paths I went down, but maybe I would have. I enjoy helping people and I will spend the rest of my life doing that, and that's what I'm here for. You can do whatever you want. I don't preach, I just share. Amen. I'm not really, I get turned off by preachy people, telling people what to do or what they should do or how to do it. That never worked for me. I'm glad that the person that helped me find sobriety and guided me this way, Richard, he was like, Lance, we've talked about this. You've got problems in your life. There are solutions. When you're ready to talk about and doing something about that, let me know. But until then, I'm going to go help somebody that really wants to do the work today. I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to, he couldn't do it for me. And he taught me a valuable lesson of not pushing this on people, but being there when they wanted to do the work. You know, I'm me. I say it the way it is, and I can be imperfectly wrong too sometimes. How to fight against temptation in days like these. Hugo, can you be a little bit more specific about the temptations you're facing? Extreme lust type. It's another addiction. It's a way to self-soothe and escape, and it's like sex addiction. It's just another addiction. I actually had a conversation with a client about that the other day. Peace, Banana. Have a great night, man. God bless and be well. Um, he had actually been talking about he would go down and hang out with homeless people and do drugs and then go back home. And he couldn't grasp why he did that. And it was like, it's like someone that buys a sex worker. It's quick intimacy, it's connection, and then I can go back and hide. It's like a quick fix of intimacy and connection, but I'm afraid of it. So I just visit and I go back home to my hideout and isolate. And so it's like almost like a drug. But it isn't even about the sex. It isn't about that. It's not even really intimacy. Let's just be honest. It's sex. And I get what I get. I have this pseudo feeling of intimacy, this fake, whatever you want to think it is. And I run back to my isolation. And the only thing I know how to fix that isolation, that loneliness, I become addicted. And that becomes a pattern and a habit. And it's hard for a lot of people to break it. And if you get into the brain, if you go back in some of my lives earlier where I talk about the brain and addiction and habits, you'll understand how those neural pathways are created, how those habits are created. And it's very difficult to stop on your own. Let me see here. That's cool. I don't push anything on anybody, AJ. There's a lot of paths. Instant gratification. Yeah. Okay, Mini Jim. That's exactly it, Wade. It's that dopamine hit. It's that fix. It's that escape. It's that self soothing because I'm uncomfortable with myself. I'm struggling with something, or I'm sad or lonely and I want to come up and feel better, or I'm at a party and everything's great and I want to feel great. That's what we do. And you know, AA is not for everybody. I think that anybody that forces people to do anything should really evaluate their own program and their own journey. Um, Even in AA, it says this program is meant to be suggestive only. You know, there's other paths. There's therapy, there's psychiatry, there's coaching, there's mentoring. There's a lot of paths to sobriety. For me personally, I coach a lot of people that don't like to go to AA. I drug test them once a week randomly. We meet once a week for a couple hours, private clients, and they do well. And maybe they don't want to go through the 12-step process or whatever in that kind of a form, but they're willing to have conversations about healing their lives. And pretty much it's not that difficult. So, I mean, I don't ever tell anybody there's it's like cookie cutter and this is the only way. Ah, it is the accountability, but I think that the accountability could come from a lot of different areas, Ajax. Wade, you just made something really interesting. Let me go look at here. Problem is, we get dopamine from anything we enjoy doing. Just some stuff makes it easier to release the dopamine, like drugs and alcohol. I always have rugs and alcohol, but that's a great typo. Thank you for making me have an inner giggle. My favorite dictator or empire? QX. I don't even know right now. My mind's not even on that page. No disrespect intended. I wanted to look at this question. Oh, I want to get back to that question with Wade. I'm really interesting. Ha! Not me. I don't really worship politics, man. I don't have the time or the energy to have my. I like good energy, and politics ain't good for me right now. And I don't tell people what to do, but for me personally, I like to just help people show up, provide for my family. I figure this country's big enough to end up where it ends up, and we've been here over 200 years, and it'll be 200 years after I'm gone. So my purpose is helping people, not getting caught up in all that stuff. Um, hmm. Problem is, we get dopamine from anything we enjoy doing. You know, here's a really interesting thing. People actually get a dopamine hit from pain and suffering and misery. We get attached to things that somehow it seems twisted, but that are harmful or hurtful to us. And there are addictions where people actually like self harm, or they participate in behaviors that are harmful in their lives because there's a fix. And some of them get attention from it. or some of them get an escape from the pain they're feeling in it. So it might not just be a pleasurable experience that somebody's addicted to and get a dopamine hit from. QX82. Are you a neurophys PhD or psychiatrist? No, but I work with a lot of them, and I work in collaboration with many doctors and therapists and psychiatrists, specifically addiction psychiatrists, because I respect the work they do. They actually take extra classes in school so that they know how to help addicts and alcoholics navigate mental health. Just a suggestion. Um, and really, if you think about it, I got there's a book around here. I just read another book because I'm curious. Everything we do as human beings is learned behavior. We're programmable beings. As a baby, we're born with a blank slate. Maybe there's some stuff in there pre-birth, but pretty much a blank slate. And over the course of our life, in experiences, in habits, in actions, and things that have been imprinted or otherwise, we create these memories or neural pathways, these ways of seeing the world or reacting to the world or how we deal with the world. And so everything we do is learned behavior. And neuroplasticity, which is a big part of addiction treatment, which I'm deeply involved in helping families and their loved ones, it's about identifying those areas within our neural pathways or behaviors, beliefs, manners, whatever those things might be that aren't congruent with healthy living, and begin to move towards or shift towards living healthier and practicing more healthy actions and behaviors in our lives. That's really the flip of recovery, and that is what neuroplasticity is. It's like retraining the brain to have alternatives and choices that are healthy, if that makes sense. Yes. Well, that's an interesting statement. I appreciate it. Good is a speculation. I would say, well, here. Let's define something. I wanted in getting that conversation, and hopefully, some folks are we're getting some learning done tonight and growing together. I love to learn and get in conversation. I think that's where we learn the best. A habit is a learned behavior. An addiction is a habit with progressive consequences that's detrimental to our freedoms and our lives. So a habit and addiction are kind of the same thing. It's just one has progressive problems attached to it. I would say I have a habit that I am very invested in and have a lot of pride in and purpose in helping people. Now, if it took the place and started to impinge on my family and my responsibilities and everything else, it might be moving into a bad area. But currently, it's not there, and my heart and my intentions are right, and I have a very balanced life. So it's a pretty strong habit because I love it, but it's not an addiction. Does that make sense? The definition of addiction, well, I mean, there's a lot of different definitions, but for me, it's a habit with progressive consequences. Doing something despite myself and not having the ability to stop, even knowing that it's a bad thing to do, and perpetuating that repeatedly into a place of oblivion and dependency where I can't even change my life without help. It's like if you think about it with the neural pathways, the brain I did videos on this and talked at length, but I'll go down this hole for you guys. In our brain, there's this thing called the amygdala. It's our primal or reptilian brain. And in that space, that primal brain has three primary functions: pleasure, survival, and procreation. It's the reason we're here as humanity. And it works very well in conjunction with our cerebral cortex or our common sense or executive functioning. But what happens is when you insert a substance in there, a substance that actually gives a sense of relief, a sense of peace, that pleasure button in that spot goes, like angels singing, and you like it. And in the beginning, it's not a destructive thing. It's just social. It makes things better. It makes some things go away. So it might even be a little medicinal or abusive. But now I want that more. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to think this. So I continue to do it. And over time, with any substance, generally, there's a tolerance that's an increase, and we move from social to dependency. I have to have this. And that primal brain in that area of survival gets hijacked. And I'm not even doing drugs anymore to enjoy it or for pleasure. I'm doing it because I need it or I'm going to be sick. I'm going to throw up. I'm going to have the shakes. So I continue to do it. And I'm reinforcing this habitual pattern of behavior, which is addictive in nature because it's destroying my life. I liken it to when I am in my addiction or my alcoholism or whatever my ism is, I know what's going on, but I don't control it. It's like the amygdala is driving the car and it zip tied my common sense in the trunk. And although my common sense is saying, hey, Lance, the bridge is out, my amygdala is like Maggie in The Simpsons with her little binky driving that car like raw dogging it over the cliff and don't care. As long as she gets that thing that makes her fucking feel well and not sick, that's it. And so it's like, how many of you have done something in your addiction or in your life where you, in your heart or your head, go, this is a really dumb idea. I really shouldn't do this, but I have to do this. I need this. And you do it anyway, and things go horribly wrong. What's the first thing to say to yourself? Damn, I knew better. I wish I would have listened. So within us, we know there's a conflict. It's just that when we're in the addiction, our common sense takes a back seat. And that primal survival brain has hijacked the system and will do whatever it takes to get what it wants. Let me see. No, I love it. Ajax, I mean I did 27 years in a cage because I threw my life away because of drugs and alcohol and the need for validation. My number one addiction was validation. I didn't have an identity growing up. I had a lot of pain and hurt, and I found validation in drugs and alcohol and criminal behavior. And that was more to me than drugs and alcohol. You liking me or you giving me a pat on the back and telling me I was a good guy, that was as big of a hit of dopamine as drugs because I didn't get that as a little kid. And it sounds crazy, but a lot of people don't know who they are and they go around the world trying to find their identity in things, people, places, agendas, rather than knowing themselves no matter where they're at and being okay in integrity and character. That's what recovery's given me back, and that's why I would never take any amount of money to go get high or try something stupid. You'd have to lock me in a cage if I ever did something like that. Hey, Kai. Hi, welcome. That sleeping at the wheel thing, it's insane. I mean, that moment in '93 when I got sober, I just came out of the psychosis and I was in that ad seg cell at Soledad, 9 years down. That moment I'll never forget. I mean, it was like an out of body experience looking at my life going, this is not who I am. How did this happen? It was like my whole life I had been hijacked by that thing. I never knew. And even then, I didn't know. I just knew that that wasn't who I was, and I didn't want to be that person. And it hurt. It was like painful, that awakening, that moment. Ugh, 93. Woo, boy. You, I make a joke with clients, don't take this personal. I'm kind of a butthead. I haven't smoked a joint your whole life. That's crazy to me. Think about that. 32 years, nothing. And I thought I would die a drug addict, alcoholic, no good. And I'm grateful for the man who opened his mouth in a space where I could hear truth. And I didn't really know what the path was or how to get here, but what this guy said made me have hope. And over a lot of conversations around what this was about and what change looked like and how to do it, I became more comfortable asking him for help. It wasn't like I just walked up and gave him my credit cards. I didn't trust at the beginning. I had to build that trust. I had to build that relationship. And because of that, I'm here today. He was very gentle, but he was very firm. He was like probably the only person that really ever showed me authentic love in my up to that point in my life because he cared about me, but he didn't let me fucking bullshit. Excuse my language, but that was the truth. It was like, Lance, if you want to do something about it, we can. If not, you can stay stuck as long as you want because there's people over here that want to do some work. Let me know when you're ready. I'm like, that son of a bitch, he can't talk to me like that. But I knew he was telling me the truth. And I knew that I needed to do something about it. And he knew how to help me. And it really made me have to learn how to humble myself and ask for help and then follow that suggestion and guidance and actually do it for change to happen. Thank you, Wade. Amen. Hey, you know what? I was just, I love talking with the clients when I'm at work. I don't know how many, for those of you that are sober for a while, when you just take a moment to stop and you look around and you're like, I cannot believe that I'm sitting here right now, a free man with the life I have. I know the drug addict crazy person really well. I mean, I have all that still. It ain't gone nowhere. I just don't live in that room anymore. This with you tonight and the life I have, I experience it like new every day. There's a level of gratitude to the people that helped me, that brought me here and gave me the help and support I needed, and to God that worked through them to help me and to teach me that valuable lesson that it wasn't about me. It was about God using my experiences to help you or to help whoever I'm with, or maybe God's using you to help me if I'm listening. That's the greatest, one of the greatest gifts I've ever got. It removes self. And it said, I'm part of a community. I'm part of the bigger order of things. And I just get to use my story has some value to somebody in this planet to help them find a better path and freedom. And I can't think of any greater gift to be given in life than that. Lunch money. Hey, Jonathan, you better go mow the lawn. Actually, it was 27 QX. And you know what? I think I needed that. I think I needed, I think if you had to, if I look back at my life at 19, and I will say that I regret that people, including myself, were hurt by my addiction and the way I was living my life. That part I'm clear on. And I honor those people that I've hurt, including myself, by not participating in those actions or behaviors anymore. Hmm. Freedom is an interesting thing. People would say that, being locked up is horrible, but I would say this. In 2020, we were doing a forum. I'll share a little story about freedom. And I had 16 years in at the time. And the prison had to let us put on a forum because we had created a program to help people with lifestyle issues and criminality. And so we were writing these letters, those of us that helped put this group together, writing the community and asking all these police, sheriffs, DAs, you name it, please come up to the prison. We have a program that can help you in the community. And we think it has value and we'd like to help you implement that. And we'd like to meet you and talk about it. And so we're writing these letters every night to our particular counties up and down California to invite people. And one night I'm typing these letters and I'm about halfway through a letter and I stopped and I'm looking at this letter like I'm looking at you right now and I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm writing to the DA who sentenced me to a life sentence, asking him to come to the prison so that I could help him help my community. And I can honestly say I was more free in that moment than I had ever been outside of prison. Because I realized in that day that freedom wasn't just external, freedom was in here. It was like I'm somebody and you can't take that away. You can take my physical freedom away, but my mental, emotional, and spiritual freedom, that's a gift from God. And no matter where I'm at, I can honor that. And that was like 2000. Um, Paul, that's always the question I get. Of course. Good paperwork. Did a life sentence. We didn't. You can't play like that. If you do, you probably ain't coming home. Oh, Moss. I ain't worried about hell. I've already been there. God has already delivered me and gave me a life of peace and a hope. I don't need to worry about hell no more. Um, well, it wasn't 27 years handed out. I got 17 years, 4 months to life for a second degree homicide I was involved in at 19. I was up for about a week on meth and stuff happened. I don't go into specifics because other people were involved, and I'm definitely not going to share personal information on a social media platform about other people's business or that night because maybe they never got caught or weren't seen or found. So I'm not going there. But a young man lost his life that night. It was not premeditated and it wasn't intentional. I am responsible for my actions. And I never forget Matthew and his family because that's a big amends for me. And that's a lot of why I do what I do every day to honor them and the people I've hurt in my life. Um, so I never forget where I come from. And I don't get into specifics because other people were involved and it's not my business to put their business out. I'm responsible for my actions and I live accordingly and honor that by my life today and my sobriety and the way I live. Hopefully that answered the question without getting too off track. I know I didn't think you were trolling. It's a very sensitive thing because other people are involved, and it's like one of those things where I want to be respectful, and not only that, but to the family, because God forbid that I ever am here and one of them comes in to see me honoring them, and I get into specifics that may make them feel uncomfortable because I still never forget what they have to live with. And every day I figure if I can help somebody change the course of their lives and not do that kind of behavior, maybe I've ended up saving a life somewhere or God's used me to save a life. And so that's just me. Yeah, Feds is a little different animal. I had a buddy that just got done doing time over here at Terminal Island in Long Beach, man. It's relative. I mean, really, it's a mindset, And I was grateful that I fell into a group of dudes that were like doing recovery and programming because as lifers, you didn't have to really go down the other path. No, bankhead. And I would say that I don't think anybody does. We just get used to it. And, I can't block you out, but they didn't have that when I was a kid. And it's killing like 106,000 people a year in the country and impacting that many family members and loved ones. So I don't play with that. And I'd appreciate it if you didn't do that. That's a humble request and no judgment, brother. I want this to be about helping people, not playing with that kind of stuff. I've seen too many friends die because of that. Yeah. I'm on the front lines every day and I've had to talk with families who have lost loved ones to that. And just not something I even want to play with. Oh, whoa. Yeah, I drive over the port of Long Beach in LA every day, well, 3 days a week to go to work over in PV and that's a crazy looking prison, man. It's like a little like out on a spit of the port away from humanity where you can't even get out of there. Where are you going to go? You going to swim? It's like Alcatraz 2.0. And then Barron wants to talk about something else. You guys, I love you, but you're knuckleheads. I hope you find your way. So, again, I appreciate all of you coming in and spending time with me and engaging. If you do find anything supportive in here or that helps or maybe enlightens you or maybe gives you something or just hanging out talking, I'd appreciate your subscriptions, likes, shares. It goes a long way to helping me spread the message and just have more people come in. And I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Let me see questions. Let the guy live. He served his time and is trying to make minutes. Oh, Ajax, don't worry. Here's the real truth. Those guys, I love too. They probably are still stuck in whatever they're stuck in, and that's a cry. And I'm there. I'd rather have them here talking to me than out getting in trouble. So Bless their hearts. I don't even take stuff personal anymore. How can? Yeah, yeah. A little kid comes up and kicks sand on you at the beach. Do you get mad or you just go, "Hey, I know." QX, let me get back. Are racial tensions high in prison? It all depends. It all depends. It really does. You can tell the energy. And if you're in the game or if you're on the yard and something goes crazy, you have to do what you have to do to defend yourself. Thank God I've never really been in a really critical wreck where I mean, like, I couldn't do that or I was defenseless. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. I don't really talk about it because it's not what I want to be glorifying or being a part of anymore. But I've seen enough to make your skin you crawl. You know what I mean? And I'm glad I survived that by the grace of God, and I have the life I have today, and that He put the people in my life that He put in my life to help me find my life and grow up and become a man and find freedom, both inside and out. That's good. Bless your heart, Baron. I hope you have fun, man. Enjoy your life. I'm in Long Beach. Yeah, I got a lot of friends in Redondo and down in the South Bay, but I'm in Long Beach right now. I used to live up in West LA, and best thing I ever did was getting out of there. And I don't mean to despite that area, but the traffic, the crowds, just the overall feeling like I was in a box and stuffed in there. Long Beach has got a lot bigger chill vibe. People are really relaxed and laid back, like blue collar, friendly. I mean, I wouldn't move north again. I found my home in Long Beach and I'm content and I love the place. Did that answer the question anyway, QX? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it all depends on the given day. Does it does it change your perspective knowing what human behavior is unconstrained? Hmm. Okay. Um, Thank you, Baron. Appreciate you. I have no idea what that meant, but constrained. I think most people will do what it takes to survive. I think sometimes you walk into an environment, and if all you've ever known was violence and drugs and craziness, it's what you're probably going to do to survive. I'm grateful. I mean, there was a moment where if things would have went wrong early in my time, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you right now because I had a thing where if you get within 3 feet in an aggressive posture, we're gonna have business. Um, and I'm no badass. I'm not the baddest guy on the block, but I definitely know how to defend myself and take care of business if I have to, win or lose. But I mean, thank God I never got put in that spot because I'm really not a violent person. I'm more of a person that was like trying to fit in and find drugs and alcohol and escape my beat up, broken childhood. But I could be violent or aggressive if I needed to be. But oh, okay. I don't know. You guys get me confused. I'm old. Mississippi Mongoloid? Woo, I love that. I got a good friend that lives outside of Jackson in Flowood in Mississippi. He called me tonight. I have a private client I've had for quite a while, and it's definitely greener and more humid. But the people are really friendly and nice. Okay. So I appreciate y'all being here. Any more thoughts or questions around addiction or life or maybe some things? If somebody has an experience that you've been able to overcome in life that was addictive or problemsome and you're living more free today as a result of overcoming that, maybe throw that in the chat. Or just, you know what, a positive peace up, man. And let's continue to support one another and not judge people, man. If people come and play, I love you too, man. I'm not here to kick people to the curb or say, oh, you can't talk. I'm not the narrator police. You do what you do. I'm not offended. What time is it? Now I got to make dinner for the family. I appreciate all of you being here tonight. I thank you for spending the time with me and visiting. Again, hopefully you subscribe and I see you on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. And if you have any questions or you have any struggles with life, you can DM me or go ahead. I got the thing up in my link. You can click and get a free 30-minute consultation, or you can DM me if you have questions and I will answer them. I'm here to help people and I'm here to be a part of the community, and I appreciate you for coming on tonight. Yeah, you're welcome, brother. I only know one way to do it. What you see, what you get. I'm imperfect. But you know what? I know something that is, and it's called life, and living a good life is okay. And I appreciate it, and I appreciate all of you, and I wish you a great week until maybe Wednesday. If you come Wednesday, I got a guy from the East Coast that's coming on. We're going to do kind of a podcast type thing and get you guys involved. So if you want to come and hang out with us, that's great. I'd appreciate seeing you all then. Chris B, hi. Sorry, I didn't. I'm half old. Where you at? I don't see it. I'll be doing the next live on what's today? Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. Every Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific, I will be here. Even if I'm in Hawaii or somewhere else in the country, I'm going to be here at 7 o'clock with you because this is important to me. And I appreciate all of you being here and giving me your time too. What am I? I'm a grandpa. I love that. I'm an addiction specialist. I do counseling, but more importantly, I do everything from pre-intervention to aftercare. I've did interventions. I've worked with families. My big thing, and maybe this is just something somebody said advertisement earlier, but this is my feeling. I've been in the industry a long time. You go through detox, then they pass the buck to the residential, then they pass the buck to the IOP, then they pass the buck to whatever, and there's no continuity. It's just like boop, 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 boop. And then you walk out the back end and here's your coin out and good boy and go to a meeting and live and prosper. And there's nobody that's walked through the entire process with a family from pre-intervention to the intervention to the placement in a decent treatment center where people get help, and walking through that and building a plan for their life so that you can pick them up on the back end and move into that and support them in testing and going to school or whatever it is they want to do to build a life they don't want to screw up. That's what I do. Tonight, and when I do these lives, it's conversations, but that's the work I do with families when they get called and they're stressed out that their loved one's out running amok or got arrested or there's problems. Can you help? There I am. And I get them all the time. I got 3 right now, and it's like chasing people, chasing cats, but I love it because somebody did it for me, and I'm going to do it for them. 28 years, level 4. You know, I got to say, you know what? Level 4, my experience on level 4s was that it wasn't as crazy as being on the 3s where people were trying to make their bones. People usually at that level, when you got there, they were doing their time. Because if something bad happened, something bad happened. And business is business. People don't like lockdowns because it affects money and things moving, if you know what I mean. 38 years. Okay. I would have to refer you to a professional AB that works with minors. I prefer that you go through therapy or something like that, or with your parent present. I won't do anything outside of that. Um, that's right. That's okay. But hey, enjoy Poland. Thank you, Ajax. I appreciate you all. I'm gonna go make family some dinner right now. I will see you Wednesday night, hopefully. And until then, God bless and keep you and your family and loved ones safe. Thank you again for being here. And if you didn't click the subscribe, I appreciate it if you do. And hope to see you next Wednesday when I have a special guest coming on. We're going to have fun. Peace.